Happy Wednesday. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. Can't complain. Getting through the week, kind of a slow one, so I'm a little tired, but we're making it. We're making it, so I'm good. Where am I catching you? You're not off to Thailand just yet, right? Still at home?
Yeah, I'm still in Austin. I leave Sunday.
Okay. All right. Cool. Are you excited for the travels?
Yeah, I like traveling internationally, so it's gonna be fun.
All right. Cool. Cool. I mean, not to you can't don't say Thailand because you're going there, but do you have a favorite country you've visited?
Yeah, I've been to South Africa, Dubai, Brazil, the UK, France. So I'd say like probably my favorites would be France, the UAE, and South Africa.
Okay. Cool. Cool. What is it about those ones that stands out to you?
Definitely, South Africa is very exotic. The safari and everything. The UAE is very rich, and just France has a lot of history. So it's like all those things.
Yeah, very good choices. Very good choices indeed. I mean, just how has preparation been for all of this? What does kind of like a typical day in the life of Helena look like?
Yeah, typical day. I usually wake up between 6:30 and 7 in the morning. I do my first training session, which is around an hour to an hour and a half. I have around 2 hours in between training sessions. So I go home, eat, get some rest, and then go to my next training session. So I finish the day around, I'd say 3 o'clock. And after that, I have free time to do whatever I want. Like, I enjoy baking. I have pets, so like taking care of them and just like doing like relaxing. And I go to bed between 9 and 10 in the evening.
Okay, not too bad. And yeah, you mentioned the pets. We haven't heard the parrots just yet. Maybe they'll make some noise, right? We'll
They
see.
probably will.
That's all right. We're here for it. But yeah, I mean, staying as busy as you can, right? And I mean, I just saw you also lined up another match. What coming up February 26th? I guess I got the Rebello there. I mean, staying busy. Do you like lining them up like this?
Yeah, I like having a schedule like for the next month or two. Like I still want to compete as much as I can, so I want to compete every month if possible, like multiple times a month, so that way I can get the most experience in different rule sets against different people. And yeah, I enjoy competing and traveling as a combination, so I just really like it.
Yeah, and I'm sure that it kind of helps you maybe, I don't know, detach any nerves or kind of pressures like that, right? Where you don't have to think so much solely on one thing at a time, or I don't know, how does it work mentally for you in that regard?
Yeah, for me, I've been competing so often, so it just became natural, really, and I think of it as like a role in training, just because I compete so often, so I'm just used to it, and it's just something that I enjoy, so I don't really feel pressure when I'm doing it, and yeah, like just like thinking of it as another like training session, pretty much.
All right, very nice, very nice. And obviously, I mean, the one championship stage is a pretty big one, though, especially over for your Thailand and Asia and all that. So, like, are you getting more and more excited as something like this gets closer, or do you try and treat them all the same? Like, how is it that way?
Yeah, it definitely is more exciting when the platform is bigger. And competing in Asia in a different country is always more exciting. Like the boxing ring and how one championship really puts a spotlight on the athletes is something that I really love, and the excitement is definitely building up. Like each day I get closer to it.
Of course, of course. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a rematch for you, right?
Yeah, we fought 3 years ago in an ADCC Open, and it was a pretty close match.
Okay, cool. I mean, is that kind of more motivation for you, having experience with somebody to go in there and kind of, show improvements and show that you're still better than them and how it works out that way?
Yeah, like whether I'm fighting someone new or someone I fought before, it's always like I'm grateful for the opportunity and that they have accepted the match. 3 years is a long time, so we are probably like completely different people, both of us, and just like I want to like compete with as many people as possible. So, it's almost like a really new match because it's been such a long time.
Yeah, totally. I think that's a great point. And just you evolving and growing as a person too, right? There's so much that can happen in those time spans, especially for the age, of course. But I'm curious, like with how rapidly you like to compete, right? Do you do much specific training for opponents, or is it kind of situational? Obviously, you want to focus on yourself because that's the one thing you control the most. But like, is that mostly how it is, or anything like that?
Yeah, I don't do much specific preparation for each opponent because I do compete very often. And sometimes I do like tournaments, just like IBGF Worlds a month ago, where I have multiple opponents in a day. So it's hard to do specific camps and preparations for each competition, each opponent. But really, it's like I try to focus on myself so that I could be confident in my own game wherever the match takes me, and that kind of helps me to know that whatever position I end up in, that I can always get the win from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great approach. Again, with all the people, it's that'd be pretty hard to be you'd be a psycho kind of with the mentality there, focusing on everybody that way. But it's been working out pretty good, so all good there. But one thing you are specific about, though, Helena, is the jiu-jitsu outfits. I mean, they really help make you stand out if your skills aren't enough. How do you decide these? Like, what goes in? Is it random, or how does it work?
Yeah, like I have a bunch of different designs. I'm always me and my mom coming up with new ones along with my sponsors Tatami. But it really depends on the competition. Like we randomly choose what outfits I'm gonna wear, just like depending on how I'm feeling, really.
Okay. Do you have a favorite one that you've worn?
I'd say it's between the leopard print and the tiger print.
Those are good choices. I thought those were good as well. So excited to see what you have in store for this next one then. But yeah, you mentioned all the different rule sets you've been competing in and all of that, and that's one of the most fascinating things to me about jujitsu is there is so many different ways to approach it in terms of rules and structures that people have, and having competed in all the ones that you have, I want to ask you like I don't know what is your do you have a preference in what you think is like the ideal way to have a jiu-jitsu match versus maybe some things that you don't like? What I guess gets you most excited in terms of the types of matches you go into and what makes a really good format?
Yeah, in my opinion, submission only are my favorite, and I think they're the best because it really pushes the athletes to like go against each other and just like fight for the submission. In like points rule sets or rule sets that have advantages, like sometimes if someone has points, they could stall out or not really want to engage in the match as much. But like submission only, you really have to go until the submission, and it really like solidifies who is better. So I'd say like submission only are the best rule sets for now.
I like that too. I think it's been interesting to see kind of, let's say the UFC in particular doing the rounds that are kind of just taking from MMA. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think maybe if they were longer, if there were more rounds, I don't know. If you had to do it that way, how do you think it would be perfect?
Yeah, I have competed in some competitions that had rounds, and I do like it in one way. I think like not too long of a match, but not too short of a match either is preferable. So anywhere between, I'd say maybe 8 and 15 minutes is ideal. Because shorter matches like 5 minutes or even shorter than that, it's hard to tell really who is better than who because things can turn around unless there is a submission. Um, and then longer matches than 15 minutes, the athletes become tired and it's really not a match anymore. It's like more who wants it and who can just like really pull out something to make it turn around. So I'd say like time limits between 8 and 15 is ideal for most matches.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time frame. Even though I gotta say, just like the sickness in me would be like, it would be fun to see him just go for as long as possible. Might get a little sloppy though, like you said. So.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, but don't have to worry about that, of course. And I mentioned MMA there, and I know that's obviously not your focus or anything you're looking at right now, Helena. And you've spoken on it a little bit. I've seen in past interviews, but is that something you think you could be open to as time goes on? Obviously, you have so many options with one championship. If you were just like, I feel like kickboxing one day, they might not let you, but you could try to, force their hand. Is that something that you would think about down the line?
Yeah, like right now I'm really focusing on being the best in jiu-jitsu and just like improving my game as much as I can. I've tried Muay Thai, kickboxing in the past, just like one class. And for now it's like not my favorite thing to do, but depends on what the future holds. I could change my mind, but right now really jiu-jitsu.
Of course, and you kind of have to be focused on the one thing to be the best at it, right? So,
Yes.
and you mentioned baking and stuff like that after you have your free time. I'm curious, Helena, like, have you had any other avenues of interest that you really wanted to commit your life to, or has it always been jujitsu kind of, since you've been growing up?
Yeah, jiu-jitsu has always been my priority, and since I found it at such a young age, I really like focused on that. But it all came naturally as a career. Like I didn't expect it to be my career until I just started, making money from sponsorships, super fights, and so on. But like I also like enjoy graphic design. Like that's one thing I did in school that I graduated with. So that could be like a thing if maybe I didn't do jujitsu, or the baking is more of a hobby. I'm not extremely good at it, but it's like something I do for fun. So I'd say like definitely like jujitsu has been my number one ever since I started it.
Oh yeah, fair enough. And I mean, I gotta ask you though, what's your favorite thing to bake? I mean, you gotta make some pretty decent stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I make everything. I love baking for holidays, so I bake every holiday for my teammates and just like for my friends and my neighbors. But my favorite recipe, like chocolate chip cookie, standard.
Okay. I mean, hey, can't go wrong with that. Can't go wrong with that at all. How do you feel about pies? I know that I've heard that that's a very difficult one to master the art of.
Yeah, I have tried a couple times. I haven't been really successful with them, so I haven't really continued. But cheesecakes are an alternative
Okay.
option that I like.
Right, very nice. Yeah, there's a lot of different choices that you can play with there, so that is fun. But yeah, it's an incredible career so far, Helena, and obviously plenty more to accomplish. But like, I'm curious if you ever kind of sit back and look at all that you've done so far, and I want to ask you, like, what does it mean to have accomplished the things that you have this early? I mean, because it's a great list that some people don't even get to achieve. So when you kind of reflect on it, if you do, like, what does it all mean to you so far?
Yeah, it means a lot to be the youngest person to achieve multiple accomplishments, like being the number one pound for pound ranked grappler, and youngest who's number one champion, one of the youngest black belt world champions. So it means like really a lot to me to be able to do this at such a young age, and it really means that like the work that I put in so far is has been successful, and something that I really enjoy doing.
Yeah, of course. And congrats to you for being able to do it. It's very impressive. And I'm sure along with that, though, will come some jealousy and haters, especially on the online world. But I mean, do you have to deal with any of that very much? Or are you pretty good at tuning things out? It's kind of inevitable the more you grow, right?
Yeah, I've had experience with it both in person and online, but it's really something that doesn't bother me. It's I guess I'm just like used to it from a young age. And I'm a pretty strong person. I don't get too emotional about things, and just like strong-minded. So it's not something that really bothers me, and I can't control people's opinions about anyone, so it's really like I'm fine with it.
Did you have to deal with much in school, or were things pretty, smooth sailing? I know that people can get into jiu-jitsu for self-defense and obviously like that if they're getting bullied or things like that, but did you have to deal with any of that?
Yeah, I was homeschooled from kindergarten, so I didn't really get bullied
By your
in
parents?
school, but
No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, but like I have been bullied as a kid, like just by other kids that play areas or whatever, but I guess that's something that's normal.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is just kind of how it goes. But I'm curious too, with that in mind, Helena, like, what would you say is kind of the best piece of advice that you would give to somebody who is just getting into jiu-jitsu for the first time?
Yeah, like just you have to stick with it. So, take your time, try to listen to what your coaches say, and just like try to consume all the details. and just keep coming to training, and one day you might be able to also be a champion as well.
Do you have a specific biggest learning lesson throughout your career so far?
I learned like from everything, like from each competition, I learned something, both wins and losses, like even weigh-ins, and training every day, like I learned something new, whether it's a technique or just like something about myself or anything. So anything, I guess, I tried to learn from.
Of course, yeah, you can learn from so many things. It's kind of the beauty of martial arts in general, right? Is that you can never learn it all. It's kind of the thing that is so exciting and fun to watch about it. But it's been cool to see and going to be cool to continue to see Helena. So I don't want to keep you too much longer here, but I appreciate you taking the time, especially before the big travels and all that you got going on. So I wish you the best of luck with it all. And yeah, just thanks so much for the time, and we'll be tuning in and hope it all goes smoothly with the week, and you get to enjoy the time overall, not just the competition. So thanks so much for the time.
Thank you so much.